I know that we chatted a little bit about the infrastructure that we have here and some potential, some of the possibility of that infrastructure and what it could be if SEPTA were fully funded. I'm wondering if you talk a little bit about that.
I always like to say SEPTA has inherited one of the best sets of transit infrastructure in the entire country. As I mentioned earlier, we have the only fully electrified rail system in the country, the only system that has no diesel-powered service at all. We have the only through-routed regional rail system in the country, which means if you go to New York, you know Grand Central and Penn Station don't connect. If you go to Boston, you know North Station and South Station don't connect. When you come to Philadelphia, both sides of our regional rail system connect. You can go straight through from Jenkintown to Jefferson Station, straight through the other side to 30th Street, and then out the other side to a different line if you're going to the airport, for example. No one else has that. In Seattle right now, they've got a major local sales tax that they've been using for years to fund the building of a transit system that upon its completion, they will have spent $50 billion to fund the creation of a system that is 1/4 of the size of the system we already have. So one way of looking at that would be this system is worth at least $200 billion baseline. So it comes down to, at the end of the day for us at SEPTA, how are we good stewards of a system that we already have, that we know needs investment, both in the infrastructure to bring it up to a state of good repair, but also to provide the levels of service that we know that our customers want and we know that the city needs. So for us, our unique challenge is to rebuild what we have and to provide a great service on it, not building new. And sometimes that is a bit of a difficult sell because there's a tendency to take things for granted that you already have. And so it is a different dynamic and it's a different sell for us.
So as a person who's this passionate about public transit, I'd love to hear if you could wave a magic wand and SEPTA could be anything in the next 2 years, what would you envision for the authority?
Well, in fact, we have those plans ready to go. For the last several years, we've been working on two things that are really exciting. The first is a bus network redesign. We've been working with stakeholders, with community groups to cast a brand new vision for what our bus network could be, which really hasn't changed in the last 60 years. The city has evolved, communities have changed, and our network needs to evolve with it. So we now have a plan, our new bus network redesign, which is going to provide dozens of routes with high frequent service throughout the day. So imagine if you're a customer and you live along one of these routes, this service will be so frequent you won't even need to look at a schedule. You'll know that the service on those routes is so good that it's almost as good as a subway. And then you can go out there and provide that service. And we're working with the city of Philadelphia on the new red bus lanes you see downtown and working on signal timing and transit prioritization and different things to make the bus network feel a lot more like riding a rail network, a lot more frequent, a lot more reliable. We have a similar vision on our regional rail network where over the next couple decades with some targeted investments, we want to provide higher frequency rail service on our regional rail network. So think about a person landing at PHL. Instead of having a train once every half hour, what if that train was coming every 15 or 20 minutes and you didn't even need to look at the schedule because you knew it would be there? We don't actually have that much further to go with our infrastructure to make those plans a reality. What we need is stable funding. What we need is the baseline amount of funding that'll give us the certainty to know that when we push go in those plans, the funds will be there to bring them to life.